And yeah, commissioners, the meeting is live.
Welcome to the July 7th meeting by the commission. We stand until the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Used to turn around.
I know.
You could really do that if you wanted. It'd be.
It's right there.
You got plenty of space.
Public comments. One at a time. And go to the commission comments.
Hey, the Thursday afternoon post meeting, I had a meeting with John Ellerman, a public works director, Jacob Hansen, interim county commissioner, county counselor, I guess I should say. I don't want to. And Amanda Webb, planning director, to discuss the possible transfer of land voluntarily by donation in the Sam Rogers subdivision north of town. Got to figure out some details and semantics on that. There's probably going to be more to come on that later. Thursday afternoon, left for Hayes, Ellis County, spent the 4th of July holiday with some friends. Watched the second night of the Wild West Festival out at the Ellis County Fairgrounds. Austin Williams, Drew Baldridge, ring a bell to anybody? Didn't to me. Okay, we'll move on. Friday, spent the 4th of July in Hayes with some friends, as mentioned. Ate a lot of food. Shot a lot of fireworks. Only had one go bad on us, and it went everywhere. I think the bottom of it or something blew out, and it blew all the rest of them out the bottom of it. So that was entertaining. It was kind of cool. Most of the entire neighborhood kind of joined in with us and brought all their stuff, and so there was just lots of stuff going on. So it ended up being pretty cool, and it wasn't too terribly bad outside. You know, it was pretty overcast most of the day. It was in the 80s, and towards the end there, it got really, really windy too. So Saturday evening, took in the last night of that same festival out at the fairgrounds with the 80s rock cover band Paramount. They play around the state of Kansas. I've actually seen them here in Manhattan. And the 1990s sensation band, the Spin Doctors. I think everybody's probably heard of them. So had a couple of big hits and played they played a long show and then did a 2 encore things. So they lasted quite a long time. So Sunday afternoon, got back home, got caught up on things around the house, then just getting prepared for the upcoming week, studying some things, catching up on some correspondence, so on and so forth. That's all I got.
Okay, last Thursday after our meeting, I stayed in the office for several hours, getting some things put away, finding my way around the building, etc. Dan Creek stopped by to see how things were going. We discussed several building questions that I had. I found an ice maker, so I had to get there. So I have ice. Later that afternoon, I had a PT session and then headed home for the 4th. Our neighborhood has been bombarded with fireworks since the 1st. So I've been spending more time with my dog at home while this has been going on. Can't get anything done. My fireworks continued all weekend, although they were supposed to stop on midnight for it. Friday evening, I was invited to a barbecue with some friends. Spent most of the weekend just relaxing and going over budget information to be presented today's meeting. And Sunday, I went over today's agenda and documents and did some house cleaning and later watered plants in the yard. That's like an ongoing thing to do. So that's all I have.
Well, mine's mostly can't say for quiet weekend, it's uneventful. And just you mentioned that noise doesn't stop after the 4th.
No.
But we didn't get it off. Independence Day, my son and his family came out for the day and rolled out. They did a few fireworks, not a lot, so it was a good weekend. All like that.
Ready for business, commissioners? First item we have need a motion to approve highway use permit granting Everdue permission to install a new service line across west of 52nd Street as shown on the map.
Go ahead and make a motion to approve the highway use permit for Evergy for the services and work as outlined in the permit.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the highway use permit and granting Evergy permission to complete work as outlined in the permit application. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair, please sign.
It's a pretty detailed street thing on here.
Mm-hmm.
And this flagman with here is just really interesting to look at this. On the triangles. I don't know if I've ever seen one quite. like that.
Next is the Raleigh County Employee Action Forms, Nick Decker, new hire, seasonal labor, Public Works, James Campbell, Facility Grounds Tech 1, Public Works, Separation of Service. And then Wendell Anderson, volunteer firefighter, fire district, all three, please.
I just have an update on that seasonal position.
Oh.
I don't know if I have to stand up here, it's really just for you guys, but.
Well, that's in the microphone.
Okay. So I just, as you sign that, I just wanted to share that the seasonal parks positions are now full for the season. We had 36 applications and we hired 4 people. And so just so you're aware, we had that advertised from April 1st to June 30th. And that's one of the areas we have a total of 4680 hours.
Why all the way till the end of June when,
Well, this one was just hired.
okay.
So that's the why that was.
So most of our seasonal work takes place a little earlier in the year than that. Should
Yeah.
start that process a little sooner.
Yeah, and actually David Willis and I and John Ellerman have been talking a little bit, multiple years, including this one, about our hiring standard. And so we're trying to create a standard for David to follow because he's wonderful and he has so much high standards for his employees, but sometimes for this entry-level position, we need to just hire some of the folks who apply and not necessarily look for a horticulture degree or 5 years experience. And so we're working on that, but that's an internal decision on the department. Yeah.
Thank you. Any changes in the minutes, commissioners?
And I have it.
I would make a motion to approve the minutes as written from the July 3rd, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the July 3rd meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Tentative agendas look okay, commissioners? Any items for next week's press conference? Next, you have Kaylin Speth, WIC supervisor at 9 o'clock. So have a little break.
Didn't notice. Ron. Yeah, that's not on that one get everything done.
We don't have to have everything done.
That's one before we have to make the R.
Monday, we can do next Monday or next Thursday, we can make the R&R announcement, because we have to tell the county clerk by the 20th. So we have until next Thursday. I haven't scheduled that far out because I wasn't sure how far we were gonna be in the process. But I am gonna ask for more time.
So you should have it on hands with
Yes.
We're not gonna be done.
Yeah.
Thursday.
No, no,
It'd be nice, but.
yeah, not this year. Yeah, well, last year we were already done, so I was like, oh, let me schedule, you know, what I think we won't do, but then go from there. So I will be scheduling more time for sure. John. Shouldn't be that important. What is the thing is that as the attitude might be leader evaluation. And so we created an evaluation so that we had the same problem for years. So that applicants, what was that we felt huge.
How long is the period? The seasonal period?
Well, so all of them, and they're June and September. So, again, then they go to college.
Right, which is typically the case. So it makes absolutely no sense to me to hire somebody on July 7th when they're gonna be pretty much gone 6 weeks.
Well, if it's 6 weeks, they'll take.
They get 6 weeks. 1 or 2,
That's obviously budget or I prefer that to be done, and it is a cost savings to have the seasonal people to extend full time, you will have other. But, right, so this is a conversation we are having before giving those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last week, it was in one of the days. Trying to organize a new desk. But when there was some guy standing out here in the parking lot, but he's phone videoing something along, and I keep talking, he's doing something along the building here. Along the building, and as soon as he's walking out there, and I could see he was talking into his phone, so, but. It's like, turn around, it was David Willis. Oh, okay, it's well, I'm cleaning up, because it does, it's that random parking lot. If this building was. The landscaping and grass and everything looks pretty shabby compared to the brand new.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think he was looking at it saying, okay, we're gonna be here. I say, so I see you just standing there video and. Oh, that's his job.
That's good, yeah.
Guess I consider the most nosy, but I was like, oh, I'm just another I was not raising money. This is.
Yeah, sure.
So. This is like my heart rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. We'll take it.
Maybe need to put up a sign or something. So- I'm seeing it.
I haven't either.
I know.
So I will have sure Bobby.
Yeah. You want to stop by with them? Check. Okay. The speaking of this, he's approve it, yes. She's up there. Okay. Yeah, that'd be good, because it does. I haven't been down there. I think so. I think so, that's all. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I said I wanted to not just,
Yeah. But she got a good. Yeah. She does good too.
That's their, yeah. Yeah, water. Yeah.
Printer's off.
Oh, is it?
It says.
I thought they switched all those.
Same so. But yeah. Yeah.
Documents.
Those are awesome. Good for, good for,
And yourself?
follow the safety rules.
Yep. David says open hand.
It's gonna leave fingers.
And we were kind of fancy. My cousin has the computer deal. He could
Oh, really?
fix the wires to all the fireworks.
See, I have one of those higher license levels.
So we had quite the show.
So you probably had some big ones then. Yeah, so do they call them Class A? Yeah. That would be cool.
You know,
Probably not inexpensive, but cool.
he said it was of the other shows that he's did, it was the leftover stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, when you buy it, you buy a case of more. So
Right.
this show took two, this show took more. So it's kind of all leftovers, but.
So he contracts out to do it for other people? Oh, cool.
Yep.
Cool. And quite a fireworks show in California.
Oh, yeah, warehouse blew up in this year. Yeah, that, floods in Texas,
I know, those floods were horrendous.
800 rescued, over 80 confirmed dead,
One lady traveled 20 miles downriver,
oh,
found in a tree.
Really? Oh, my God. They
Yeah.
ever find any more kids?
I know there was like still 20 in the church camp last I saw.
Last I heard was 11,
Oh, 11.
was the last report I heard
I was reading
yesterday.
this morning, one of the deceased kids is a member of the Hunt family, Chiefs owners.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
A who fan?
Chiefs owners.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a horrible deal.
So
Right in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
Came up 26 feet,
26
25
feet.
minutes, I think. Wow.
Yeah, unreal.
There was, I saw one where there was fire, I think it was a volunteer fire chief, but he was in his SUV, they got swept away and they found it, and it was just like pounded like it did in the park, I'm sure. Covered with rocks and dirt, and they had to like dig the SUV out, but they still. You know, the SUV was just a bit of the park,
Mm.
big old rocks all
Oh,
around.
Yeah, water is powerful. I saw some of the piles of debris and it was unreal. Vehicles. Horrible deal.
Yeah, I'm going to make a motion that we recess as the Board of County Commission and convene as the Board of County Health.
I would second that.
Moved and seconded to recess of the Board of County Commissioners, convenes Board of Health, all in favor.
Good morning, commissioners. Kaylin Smith, WIC Supervisor. I am here to present the 26 WIC budget and application. So just a reminder, our budget is on the federal fiscal year, so it'll start October 1 and roll through September 30th. Local agencies are required to submit an application and a budget to the state agency each fiscal year. We usually submit that first week of July, and then we find out what our allocation and assigned caseload will be beginning of September. And then that's when I'll bring a contract for you guys to sign. So this year was a little bit different. Instead of emailing our local agency application and budget, this was through Survey 123 and then KGIMS. We anticipate to request $1,245,522 for the WIC budget, and then $98,974 for the breastfeeding peer counselor budget. Those are two separate funds. Those are 11% and 10% more than our anticipated 2025. Sorry, there's a typo. 2025 expenses, and that's mostly due to expected increased salary expenses, potential COLA, merit increases and benefits, and then I significantly reduced our expenses for 25 on training, advertising, education supplies, equipment, just due to the state of the state agency funding. The state agency has provided us guidance that they're going to use a new funding formula this year that is specifically tied to the number of clients that we serve and the number of clinics that we serve. So looking at Fort Riley County. Our request does include our ideal budget. So if they don't come back with this, I do have some ways I can reduce it. But this is our ideal budget to maintain our high level of services. And then just a reminder that WIC has a significant economic impact. Just locally, we have $1.5 million of WIC dollars into the food economy at the grocery stores that the clients are spending their WIC dollars at. And then for every $1 spent on a wig, there's a $3.13 dollar healthcare savings for infants. So recommendation is just that the local agency application and budget is approved to be submitted. There's not a signature on this. I'll just submit it if it's approved.
And the other contract, when it comes to, it'll be done digital. right?
I think so. Yeah, just like last year. Yeah, I'll bring it to the meeting, and then I believe you received the email to sign it last year. Yep.
Say,
Fingers crossed.
I would make a,
Good luck on getting it.
Yeah.
Oh, no words.
yeah, I would make a motion to approve the recommended year 2026 WIC local agency application and budget.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the 2026 with local agency application budget. Yes, submitted, all in favor.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next commissioner, Russell Stuckey at 9:15.
Make a motion to recess as the Board of County Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners.
I'd second that.
Been moved and seconded to recess at the Board of Health and reconvene as Board of County Commissioners, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah. Who's looking at the big plan for the new building? What was it placed in care department?
I think just a portion, just where they're getting rid of that guy, going to the.
But the way it was, no, it looks like they're saying replace some of those things. I thought. I think so. I mean, that's not something needs. About that part was.
Right.
Hey, that give Jim.
I think that one shaded area. Shows what they were planning on changing.
Except it's got the whole apartment shade.
Yeah,
One of the sheets.
yeah,
I
that's
thought they were just making a new tie-in,
right.
but. The way it's. Not,
Yeah, that was what I thought. I didn't think they were replacing the whole thing.
that. I don't think the station.
That is. Ogden.
Yes, try to find someone, maybe see which station it was.
Right. Yeah, there's,
It was a big one, we had to do one of the newer ones, yeah.
yeah, there's, people from 2 or 3 different stations in that picture, I think, so.
Training.
Yeah, I think so. Or we're, that's one of the. That's the truck we got from Delaware, and so they could have been like, setting it up, getting stuff out of the old truck and putting it into the new truck. That's the Delaware truck. One that came from Delaware.
Which station? Which station is this?
Ogden. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and that'd be one of the, looked at, that'd be one of the 300 stations.
Right.
So I was thinking too, I was thinking that maybe Leonardville, Federal, I forgot about that.
Yep. Yeah, Leonardville and Ogden are nearly identical. They were built at the same time under the same USDA loan. So they're not 100% identical. The dimensions are identical. The kitchen, bathroom, meeting room setup's just a little bit different, but basically they're identical. One fan's noisy, isn't it?
They are noisy.
I think it's that one over there, isn't it?
Is it that one?
Mhm.
I think so.
Well, that was moving the fastest. It's
Yeah.
probably why it's making a lot of
Get
noise.
your graphite for your lock if you could spray that first too.
Yeah, he's gonna get up there.
It's louder than us right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can hear you tired.
Really?
It seems. Ooh. That's somewhere that's. That's the quietest.
Can you just set it off?
No.
They
No,
have to all be on at the same time.
Yeah.
But you can control the speed, but not individual.
I can't quite reach.
I know, it's kind of weird. This one's real slow, that's medium, and that's fast. That was set. Interesting.
Down back there has to be word.
Yeah. Get up there. Very good. Strange. Speeds.
Plant mostly this year.
I didn't plant anything. So our farm,
Huh?
our farm ground, we just rent out.
Well, that's not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're getting one crop to put on it.
Yeah, by our house, it's corn and, down on Grandpa, or it's soybeans. The other three places are soybeans, yeah.
Yeah, did wheat this year?
Nope. I think he did other places, but not anymore. Morning, Commissioners. Russell Stuckey with Emergency Management and Riley County Fire District #1. Been working on different things. Of course, as you know, we've been working with the architect and BHS to finalize the plans for our remodel of the old EMS headquarters. They got those, the final documents so they can go out to bids to us. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday last week. And so those got to BHS. They should be working on getting the bids. And so hopefully here in 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be able to bring bids to the commission and take the next step forward. As you know, we moved into the space across the way and have pretty well settled in. I think all of us have boxes that we don't plan on unpacking, but got unpacked what we need to get unpacked so we can get back to relatively normal. Robert, our planner, he's been working hard, meeting with several different department heads, working on their continuity of operations plans and their emergency action guides for their buildings / office spaces. All reports I've got is that's going well. Just another reminder that on September 25th, 26th, and 27th, we're hosting the G2300 Intermediate Emergency Operations Center Functions course at the new EMS training room. And so that's for any county, city officials that might be tasked with jobs in the Emergency Operations Center, tornado, flood, man-made disaster, anything like that. It's a class on how to operate and how to function in the EOC. And like I've said before, that's finance, HR, mayors, chairman, anybody that, then obviously fire, ambulance, law enforcement, etc., public works, all play big roles in the emergency operations center when it's fully activated to, get traffic back flowing, utilities back going, services back to citizens, whether that's, taxes and tags and the whole 9 yards, because disaster may affect our facilities and we may have to relocate those. And that's all goes into the functions the EOC helps manage during and after disaster. So I'd highly encourage all officials, whether it's appointed, elected, deputies in city, county, et cetera, to attend that class. And that'll be put on by KDM and have outside instructors. Should be really good. So just a reminder of that.
You send a reminder when we get close to that day.
Yep.
Okay. Appreciate it.
And it'll we'll probably send one out later this month because the deadline will be coming up. If we don't get enough in it, they'll cancel it.
Right.
So the sooner the registration's open now for anybody that's interested, but yes, we can sure send out. We'll definitely send out a reminder.
What dates were those?
September 25, 26, and 27. So the other thing, been working on gathering information for the county auction. As you know, we replaced a few trucks with new used trucks. So that's gave us 3 old trucks to put in the county auction. Of course, finding the titles for those was an adventure because some of them were, one of them was found, but wasn't fully processed. And so, yeah, so anyway, that I spent a little bit of time with Shiloh's staff and my staff and Public Works and Rich's staff trying to locate some of those items. And I think we got them all located or requested copies and got that process going. I got a request from the city of Riley to attend their an upcoming, not the next one, but their August meeting to discuss fire department operations in the city. And they're the only city that's still maintaining a volunteer station. And so I anticipate they just want to talk about what it would look like if they merged that station into our county station and basically made it look more like the other cities, Leonardville and Randolph and Longlands. I'll be going up there to Riley in August to their city council meeting to talk to them a little more about that. We've been offered some surplus items from EMS thing this in the old EMS headquarters, like the air compressor, because they got a new one with the new station and the old one's still sitting there. There's a commercial extractor washing machine, the refrigerator that's over there, a conference table, the gear lockers and some assorted hose board reels. Some of the stuff is in inventory, some of it's, is not aren't inventory items. And so if it's okay with the commission, I would like to request those things be transferred over to county fire, and I can submit a car if I need to, like for next Thursday to officially approve transferring that stuff over, if that's what the commission would be okay with.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the other item is for your information, we hope to do some training in the old EMS headquarters before the actual demolition happens, some search and rescue training, some, forcing like interior doors and practice making entry into buildings and stuff. And so assuming the commission's okay with that, we'll probably try and do that training before the remodel starts. But use that building to our advantage while we have access to it before
Beat it up before you take control of it.
pretty much. But part of the remodel process is gutting it. So if the commission's okay with that, we'll work with John Ellerman and BHS and get that scheduled before the actual remodeling starts. The administrative assistant Mackenzie McGinnis is working out well. She's starting to learn things and working with HR and finance and learning her role well, and we've been real happy with her so far. Station 110 up in University Park, where electricity's on, the building itself is done. We're just waiting on water and sewer, and the water line's got to go through where the driveway goes, and so we haven't been able to put it in the driveway yet, so we haven't been able to put trucks in it yet, and so we're just waiting on the water and sewer. As soon as that's done, we'll get the driveway done and the final landscaping, if you will, parking lot. hopefully set a ribbon cutting date for our grand opening up there, but until we get the water line in, we can't really set a date. But we're about done up there. My staff helped EMS staff a couple of days, moving some of their larger items and stuff from the old station to the new station. Been doing pretty other normal stuff. Kind of normal call load this time of year. A couple other things I was gonna mention was you'd asked us to look at services we provide in areas that we may be able to do cost cutting savings. Most of these probably aren't very palatable to you, but like one thing that we spend money on that is pretty necessary, I think, but just to bring it out is we spend about $6,000 a year helping support the stream gauges on Wildcat Creek. I think that's something we probably want to keep in place, but that's something I was going to mention. Another thing we do, any given year, we'll spend several $1,000s on different public ed materials. So when, Lori in particular, she goes out and talks to different groups and handouts and pamphlets, whether it's severe weather, awareness information, flooding information, just general preparedness for your home or your workplace. There's different pamphlets and handouts and things we do for that. That's an area that we could cut services, if you will, if that's an area that the commission wanted. And then another one that's that we could potentially have to spend a lot of money on, but on any given year lately we've spent probably, I think this sheet shows anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 is siren maintenance. So the outdoor warning sirens, that cost has really jumped up in the last year or two because the service calls are costing $3,000 a pop just to get them to come out from Kansas City to work on them, because they've changed the technology enough that our local KCOM can't really work on that stuff hardly anymore, and so they got to come out of Kansas City. Blue Valley Public Safety, depending on who you talk to in the emergency management world, the outdoor warning sirens are getting to be old technology, with people having alerts on their phones and have the National Weather Service and weather radios and other options. There's a lot of community. I don't know if I should say a lot. There are communities that are going away from outdoor warning sirens. I wouldn't advocate just turning them off, but I think the thing that we could consider as a cost-cutting measure as they start to fail is maybe we don't fix them and or replace them. If we have to replace one, that's $25,000, $30,000 a pop. One example is, one other thing to consider is the city of Manhattan pays for all of theirs. The county doesn't have any in the city of Manhattan, but the county owns, believe it's 8 sirens in the outlying communities. Like the city of Riley owns 2 and we own 1 in Riley. We own the Randolph one, the Lairdville one, Keats, Ogden, Hunter's Island, one at Public Works. And so, if the commission was really looking hard at something to cut, that you could tell Randolph, Leonardville, Ogden, hey, if you want to keep your siren, once it fails, we're not going to turn it off, but if it fails, you need to take it over because the county's wanting to cut things. Those are some of the things we come up with for cuts. I don't necessarily advocate for any of those, but just to give you options that are out there. And then the other thing my staff came up with was that if it was a benefit, janitorial wise, they're like, we can take out our trash from our offices and we could run a vacuum. If that was deemed, John, if that was helpful to him, my staff offered that up, like, hey, this is something we could do to maybe save a a nickel. Think that's all I really have. You have the run reports and the newsletter in front of you. I don't know if you have any questions for me. All right, thanks.
Thanks, Russell. Thank you, Commissioner. We have a press conference at 9:30.
Found us.
Yes, third try was a charm.
No.
Drove down to HTX and goes, man, there's a lot of parking available. Then I went over and toured the new EMS building because I was like, I think I remember an email saying they were moving over there. No,
We thought about that.
Well, if
This
you go
is
out to
nice.
Public Works, you'll make it to the entire.
this is a nice room. I don't think I've ever been in here.
Question is, did you use lights and sirens to get here on time?
No,
Oh, okay.
students are gone. Town was pretty easy.
Yeah, I saw you came in that door. I came in that first door for a couple times.
Yeah. This building is just so broken up over the years. I don't remember ever being here. I mean, the other part once in a while. So quick report, Mark French, Major, Raleigh County Police Department, in charge of, the jail facility. Good news, bad news. Bad news is our ADP was over 130 for the first time in the history for the month. In Raleigh County Police Department. However, I would have to say we've been running at this capacity that we're starting to figure it out. Some of the places that are really straining us are transports. It's a lot of transports we're having to do daily. And I didn't look at the mission list today, but Monday and Tuesday it's not uncommon to have 7, 8 different inmates, different times, different locations, and that's not even factoring in doctors' visits, stuff like that, dentist. So scheduling becomes, we're actually trying to develop some options to maybe, if these numbers look to persist, how we could actually reformulate how we do the transports a little more efficiently. So the other thing is, as of today, though, we were down, I think, to 117. Those have dropped since about Wednesday. We've seen a decline. So, remember our goal, our ADP contract, or our ADP goal is to try to keep below 110. That's what we signed the contract for with our medical. Other than that, I don't have much to report about the jail. I talked to Major Hayek with patrol. They don't have much to report. No issues with Randolph celebration. I didn't get an opportunity, but I talked to some people, said it was really good this year. So do you have any questions for me today?
Keep open for that Downward trend.
We're really hoping it continues. And I will be getting with the attorney and start up those negotiations again for the mental health contract.
Sounds
So my other plan did not work out, so. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks, Mark. Have a good one. Next question, you have John Ellerman, 9:35.
That finished up pretty quick and with the win on our side.
Good deal.
We're moving forward.
All right.
Slowly we should.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Ellerman, Public Works. Today I have a request to fill a facility and grounds tech for the Parks Department. One of our new hires been back in January, February, taking another job in what his college degree was in, more wildlife and parks area. So, that's what I'm asking for, to fill this full-time position, already budgeted position in the Parks Department.
Well, I'd make a motion to approve the Public Works Department to advertise for the open facilities and grounds technician 1 or 2 position.
A second.
Been moved and seconded to approve Public Works to advertise for the open facility grounds spec 1 or 2 position. All in favor?
Aye.
All three of these signed. Thank you, John. One more item, I think, is just some discussion is basically what I was looking for to how to remodel the commission chambers. Any ideas, any thoughts that I can relay to the architect as we get started on that? I didn't know if we were looking at carpet paint or a total revamping of the space. That's what this is conversation over this time was about, is just to get some ideas from commissioners, so I knew where to go with when I start discussions with the architect. And on that, I planned on using Bruce McMillan, since he's done the last and got some familiarity with that building.
Well, I have a lot of suggestions, but I could talk to you about this.
I'm kind of, I don't know, I really want to make any changes, to be honest with you, but I'm kind of curious to see maybe what we come up with. Maybe not, but.
It's gonna be interesting with the ideas, at minimum carpet paint,
Right, I definitely want to.
clean it up, but just if he has some ideas. Ideas what could be done.
Yeah.
Not saying put it up, like I say, not saying put it up. We don't need full plans, but just to have him look at it, put some different options of what he thinks.
Okay.
And a timeline on it. So I want us to take a year.
Well,
I mean, I don't want to be displaced for a year is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I like the way, I really like the way this set up with the presenter and the screen and the same location. And then one thing I thought we do the configuration of gas, is there really wasted space, a lot of it, maybe have the clerk and the counselor kind of at, angle coming out so everybody can see them. It's like in this, and I thought about that in here and like, it's hard to see, like on this end, it's hard to see Jake, and I think on that end, it's hard to see Rich and, that kind of. So
I don't know, I really don't look at either one, honestly.
I got good news for you today.
Well, of course, the sound is bad.
So the desk that you're at now over there is kind of curved. Does that
Yeah,
work
it could
right?
have a little curve, but
Little
that
bit.
one's the angles in there really waste space on the different desks.
It-
Okay.
So it's just like doors and cabinets and everything that uses for anything.
Yeah, you really need a pencil drawing.
Yeah.
I actually do use mine. Get a lot of information in mine.
Yeah.
Over here.
But you probably have a lot more room in your office now.
Yeah, but it's a little inconvenient when the board has a question to have it in this file or if I have it upstairs.
Well, it's true, maybe your desk could have a, yeah.
So y'all needs clear direction on a consensus on what the board would like.
I don't have any ideas.
If they wanna strung up something and see what it looks like, that's fine. I've got a couple of different options or something, that's fine. I could go with nothing, or I can go with something new if it fits the bill, but I want a timeline. How long it's gonna take from start to finish, and can we get it in during the time when we're down? I don't wanna get all the windows out of there and start a 6-month process.
Maybe.
Mentioned like seating, people seating can see you, but not on the screen. I hope that's something the architects could, I mean, they're better.
That's why they get paid the big bucks.
Yes. Yeah, so I don't know if that's one thing you want to look at.
But at least one commissioner's expressed a couple times rather robustly that he doesn't want it to be extended. About the only way to do that is carpet and paint. You guys are gonna go through revision and new desk and stuff. It's gonna take some time, commissioners.
How often do we have a chance to do?
No,
this?
I agree.
Yeah, but couldn't maybe they can work out some sort of time frame that maybe they don't have to, by the time they get to our chambers, maybe they don't have to have so much staging. Maybe things could be moved around a little bit, so that we can work.
Maybe, but I don't know what we're saving there, and if we bid it, the remodel, then the chances are you're not having the same contract. I mean, our own policies and statutes, if we'll have to bid that type of
I
project.
understand.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying, and it'd be really nice to do it that way. We have a meeting with BHS this weekend on the window project reproduction. We could talk to them a little bit about how much space they might need and those type of things. So we can help with that, but I can't tell you.
Well,
My
I'm
thoughts
asking
are
for
you're
an
gonna have
answer
to be
this
out of
morning,
here.
Just saying.
Yeah,
have
I
that
hear you.
discussion, See what it looks like, and if it fits, it fits, if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Like I say, good, updated, little, we're not talking about getting it.
Turning it into Taj Mahal.
It's city hall, it's.
It's gonna be in a pretty, by the time they fix the walls and all the things around the windows, it's gonna be
Yeah.
pretty bad. Yeah.
How long does it take to
Mess,
paint
pretty-
the walls, ceiling?
Depend on the painter we can get. The one we've been
You
using,
better get one that actually works by the hour instead of by a number.
yeah, the one that's been historically used takes some time.
Two of them, and he's done for the day. I don't think that's gonna work out for him. That's what I'm saying. I mean, figure out some of the logistics here and we'll see if it fits.
Room is bigger than you think. I measured, it's much bigger than Then it
Once you
seems.
tape everything off, which takes the longest when you're painting, you just spray it, you're done. Peel everything off and it's done. It's not that complicated.
Well, you gotta remember, they can't paint that ceiling, and if you replace just the
Oh,
panel things, then you probably wanna replace the grid, because the grid will look old when you put new panels in there,
Well,
so
that's-
commissioners,
not
it's
worried about
not.
this.
It's not that easy. Well, you may not be, but are these guys? And so that's why staff needs direction and the architect will. Because John's gonna go to the architect and say,
I don't know.
draw something up.
Go talk to them. Well, those panels, the ceiling panels are probably 50 years old, I don't know,
Oh, they're at
It's
least
like
30 or 40.
30
Yeah.
or 40, they're
See,
pretty old.
see.
Good luck.
I got a direction. I'll go talk to the architect.
Or if you want to speak to you, or if they're here.
You put it all together, you might as well use it, Corey.
Yeah.
If I may, in support of John's request on what your interests are. Because if you're additionally planning on repositioning how you are in the room, then we have to make technology changes within the room as well. And, you know, at this time, when the new windows get done, where the screen was, if you know, it would go back there again. I know if some of you have paid attention, it covers about half of 2 of those windows that are there. So if you're interested in a reconfiguration of where you sit, then that's part of what we need to know and why we need to know quickly so that we can adjust and make those changes. So just wanted to bring that up in support of, we need to know what your ideas and interests are pretty quick in doing this.
You have the ability to come up with a couple of different options of what that might look like yourself, Corey.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
do that and bring it back and
Yeah.
we'll discuss it.
yeah.
Because once those windows are in, they're bringing a lot more light, it's kind of, you know, it's gonna be hard to see the screen, it's, you know, silly to cover up brand new windows with
Yeah.
the screens, and there's
There's,
plenty spaces.
and in keeping in mind, there's only one solid wall in the entire room, and that is currently the wall that's behind you. And so, you know, if we were, you know, we even have ideas of moving away from a projector and the screen and going to a large TV, which will give us much more brightness of what's being displayed in there. But again, though, even a large TV size, I've measured that width in between there, it's going to overlap some. But we're probably not looking at a 110-inch TV, but it would be down in the 98, so which would be better. But if we're looking for a wall to attach, it would be that south wall that's been behind you, unless you or John or BHS comes up with another idea of some sorts, where the pillars are, make a partial wall there. I don't know, but I'm just saying we need to have that consideration as well in this idea.
But also just how the light coming in is gonna affect.
Yeah.
If windows are open. Light shining through on that thing, you're not gonna see it, or if it's behind us, it's okay.
Yep.
Then how all that needs to be considered.
Well, we'll do some testing.
Over where the columns are, then people walking in, walking by it, I mean, that doesn't seem like.
Yeah, if you were to go to that side, I think you'd need to close off the gap in between a couple of them, and it's more of maybe some doorway entries going in or something.
So,
Yeah, yeah. So,
And then you put your presenter. There's a lot of different options, I think.
yeah. But it's one, I agree, we need to move quickly to get answers, especially if you want it in a timeline of while you're currently here, if you want it done in that, or a minimal additional time that you might be out of your chambers while that goes on, so.
Tell Bruce to be creative.
Yeah, okay.
Anything, recreating sheet.
I just don't want to see a scenario where we do the windows and then we do this on the back, that we fit both of them in at the same time and get it done in a reasonable stretch.
Like, you know, maybe not, you know, we have until what, February, and here we had, seemed like a long time anyway.
even if they stage all the windows in that location, eventually they're gonna disappear and go where they're supposed to go.
Yeah, the staging will change.
I will figure something, I will talk with Bruce and see what we can come up with.
Thanks, John. Next commissioner, you have Brittany at 9:55.
I'm gonna try. I don't know if they're gonna let me.
Got to show up anyways. Yeah, real quick, I was surprised. I figured because usually they do like very short scheduling stuff at the very first of the docket and then that's the later. But the prosecuting. Go first, even if they're doing it, it's fine. So I was expecting to use this. Heck yeah, let's get it. Yeah, so what it was is that we were supposed to be negotiating with them that to make it clear exactly, because some people are confused on you're bringing this eviction in front of cities. Right, and so some of the attorneys were making some arguments that didn't really apply, and so doing the motion event. So they were trying to say that you can't do, right, for exclusive reasons, so that's, but here it doesn't. Side, explaining, so that's issue. Or leave it, like, yeah. Now we're on to arraignment for killers. Get the charges right out to them and then he takes. Okay, she should be that way. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's already been here. Last year, but I kept getting something once. But now that you're the treatment, he's the one that we had been on case with them, yeah, case. Yeah. Explaining the court today in the rank of the felon. Opposed to that was a motion to amend and was there. I was expecting not to get a chance to argue until like 10, but they put me out there at the very end. So it's nice. Yeah, well, we did, but yeah, well, not only do we did find it's a little frustrating, it's the law that we have. It's basically the cutoff period when we got that the civil liability for it, so I can't even use that. And to support the affiliation in this case. But the court is already clear. You know, right? So I guess we get to find out whether or not that's the verdict. Yes, I think it's yeah. It's there's so long. Probably some of it. Now we bought the property. Construction. Just these kind of shingles on heads that have to be really. Yeah. Stuff is those words. I think so. I think there's still. Yeah, you're gonna use those.
No.
Right. No, but he's, I mean, that's gonna be, I guarantee that's gonna be designed. This is better question. I assume you know this. Yeah. It's not like. Good for it.
So like we're still watching.
Did you guys have any what city?
Yeah.
Did you go anywhere special? Or is it you guys want to win in your new place? No. It's because they budget the 2% overlay.
Oh, yeah.
You guys do that too. I bet you guys are jumping. Is that many boxes? So the point is that Well, you want to keep this on, it's about even, has to be saved. Right. It's those things. If you can lay yeah. You never know. It's gonna be that one instance. Threw it away and I need it.
One board, stayed for 20 years and you threw it away, you need it the next day.
Oh, this was. We filed a motion. Necessarily. Getting and I think people were honestly.
There is a
motion.
I have to look at it.
So there was. Because under. Line enforcement. It says statute. Shall not. Yeah. And so you have. So these. Does Hayes put on the pretty big event?
No, well, they have a parade and they have a big festival, 3-day festival. I don't know what's around it.
You got family out there, I think it.
I've got some friends. Yeah, we drive up to Plainville in the morning. They open up 50% off fireworks. Then let's go through it.
What?
You're getting a big
$800.
maybe find out.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
It's smoother going in, just getting parents to spark.
Not good.
It's like I'm used to everything being like along from the peak edge. I have to.
Yeah, you can short it by 45 minutes one way.
You have something today?
I mean, maybe
Oh, okay.
a small thing. I'll be
Okay.
quick. It won't be like Thursday. Good morning, Commissioners. Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer here for another budget work session. So with the changes that you made on Thursday, that did impact COLA. So that's why I have COLA highlighted here because that number reduced. So the financial impact of COLA is now $736,870. And then here's a list of other changes that we've made since the presentation or with your guidance. So some of them, they are. So Public Works reduced by 50,000. We reduced the treasurer budget and personnel by 62,908. Increased the motor vehicle transfer by $70,000. Reduced museum by 4,550, and then of course COLA reduced. You asked for a breakdown of the health department reduction. So these are where all those areas were cut. I couldn't get to the exact number, so I'm still having Diane review it. I was about $15,000 when I kind of gave up and reached out to Diane. But so she's still working on that, and we'll have that total number to you for Thursday. And then of course, all the new positions and then the worksheet.
Now, I had a question on the new, or on the change positions, on the network systems analyst for the IT department, is that the one that's transferred from the clerks?
No, so the network systems analyst, that's for IT.
That's for IT.
The position that the health department is requesting is the billing and coding clerk. That is not the same as the financial analyst.
I'm sorry.
Or the fiscal analyst is her actual position. So this would be a brand new position that would just handle all of their billing for the clinics services, and they projected for a potential of increased revenue if they had a billing and coding clerk, because they would have somebody dedicated to that specifically.
Okay.
One. Michael talked about noxious weed, he might have something. Haven't got that yet.
No, are you talking about the insurance, like increasing?
No, he had talked about with the changes in,
State contract.
with the
Township.
changes in not the chemicals.
Oh,
Putting more restrictions on it, that would be some savings.
okay, no, he hasn't given me updated numbers yet, and I can reach out to him to talk about that.
I do know he's out today.
On the health department.
Mhm.
Trying to answer questions. I know one of those was. MCH, OPI, whatever, this letter saw.
Mhm.
Because you said you've got someone expecting to leaving it vacant for a few months.
Yes.
Yes.
We've got a nurse who's gonna retire. In the end of November. And then we're gonna hold that position open. Until probably the end of March of 26. It'll affect services a little bit, but. Probably not enough to notice.
Is it lower in winter use or something, or, you know, if positions needed, we need them, if we don't need them, why fill it? You know?
Well, yeah, you're right. I agree with you. I mean, they're just doing the best they can, trying to,
But
yeah. I mean, we can.
needed position,
fill
I'm
it.
not sure we need to cut. You know,
For 3
I mean,
months, 3 or 4.
sometimes, and then we do get, I know it does work, when somebody leaves, we do usually have a couple of months, but.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Try to guess ahead and plan that. I'm not sure that makes,
Yeah.
I don't think that's our best.
Yeah.
Option.
Yeah. Oh, we can go ahead and so, yeah, I plan to bring a more exact budget on Thursday. We've got an opportunity to get another $40,000 for MCH. Not hiring any new staff, but we will figure out a way to use that with our current staff. So we're gonna get another $40,000 revenue, and then we're talking with HR tomorrow. Because we have a nurse who's moving back east, and so we've got some ideas on how to handle that position. That'll save us quite a bit of money, so yeah, so I plan on bringing all that stuff on Thursday along with childcare licensing information. I did write a letter to KDHE, and I need to know if you guys want me to sign that letter and send it off, or if you guys want to sign it. I think it'll probably hold just as much weight with me signing it as.
They're fully aware of
I think
I
they're
had
fully
that
aware.
conversation last year around this time with Derek, so
Yeah.
they know that this is on the table.
And this letter is pretty strong.
Yeah.
So, because I think we're at that point. So the letter is pretty strong. I can sign it and email it off to them today. So I'll do that. And then hopefully we get an answer back from them. But I've worked out probably 4 or 5 scenarios of possibilities of either, dropping all the outside counties or keeping maybe one. So I'm just gonna have Erin look over our fiscal analyst. I'm gonna have her look over the numbers and make sure that I didn't make any mistakes. Cause I don't wanna lead you wrong, so I'll have her look at those this afternoon and make sure that all my math is right. But yeah, there's one option where we come out okay. So, and it's just keeping Geary County, Riley and Geary, so with 2 staff.
Okay.
So. But either way, it affects staff, so.
On the first one, the increasing the federal grant that's supposed to go for 2 more years. Just basically doing all the work of it for 1 year. I don't understand. The workforce development.
Oh, the workforce development, so that is, yeah. That's money that we got, I don't know, it was before me.
Yeah, and so they got the money back in 23, and so it goes until the end of 2027. It right now, or at least last I know of that I can see reports, so back end of January, I'm sorry, end of December, they still had $141,000 left in workforce development funds. However, the plan, from my understanding, was
Which has changed.
okay.
And this thing is such a moving target. So it was written to where we would use all of the workforce development in 2026. But it wasn't written in the budget right. And so what I did is I took out all the expenses that we plan to spend next year. I took them out of the total and then put that amount up there. So the revenue and the expenses will cancel each other out. We will, talk, yes, yes, yes.
Clarify on.
Yes, yeah, we're still gonna clarify that, and then.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, we're gonna use
Yes.
some of that funding for CCL to cover costs of this year, not sorry, WIC, because of the shortfall.
We have a different plan for WIC for the shortfall for this year. So for the funding for this year, they're gonna continue to get their normal funding and they'll probably run out maybe mid-August. So they'll be short probably about 2 weeks in August and September. And then their regular next year funding will start October 1st. So to get them through half of August and all of September, we're planning on using administration funds. So we're cutting back on what we're spending for 25, and it will carry WIC through until October 1st for about a month and a half. Does that make sense?
So all of. The health pharmaceutical was already taken down.
The transfer, sorry.
It said updating onto this sheet.
Yes, so, this, I updated the transfer for last Thursday, so it should be that 1,000,000, yeah, 1,901,919. So that already takes out what they had originally, that's the difference. So they had requested, 2.2 million, and now it's down to 1.9. So that's where that reduction came from, but you guys had asked last Thursday for us to give you a total breakdown of, yes,
Say it might change. Yeah.
yeah,
This original number is still taken down.
it is. Yes, yeah, so that's why, how we got down to the 1.9. So with all of these changes, because from what I'm understanding, none of this has changed. We're still discussing, I mean, you guys brought up MCH and OPEI. So we'll need to talk about that some more, but anything that Diane and I are still actively talking about, I have not changed or put on this spread, like on this memo. Does that make sense? Clear as mud. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Thank you.
Well, and the next time you bring this to us, you'll have those talks over and this, correct?
We're trying to, yes. So I know Erin is out until noon today. Yeah, so she'll come back and then Diane and I are gonna have a meeting. We haven't set it up yet, but I wanted her to be able to have her conversations with her staff before we set up a time to talk about CCL and all these other items. So we will set that up probably tomorrow so that on Thursday, all of that is set and we don't have to keep bringing it.
Is that going to give you enough time to, I'd like to see just the real number at some point, where it's, you've got the talks over. And if you're not ready on Monday, then, on Thursday, then maybe we need to do it on Monday.
Sure.
An accurate number.
Yeah, yeah, we can I mean, if she doesn't have time tomorrow, I'm pretty open this week, but I don't know what her schedule is like, but I haven't sent her an email yet this morning. I've been talking about budgets all morning since I got to work, so.
Yeah.
So will Diane and you have final health department numbers by Thursday? Where it's not gonna move
Or
again?
tomorrow at 3.
What, tomorrow at 3, or is it better off Monday? I understand what
Yeah.
Kevin's saying.
Yeah.
It's like to see.
And I think the other commissioners might feel that way too.
Yeah.
Let's get to where we know where we're at.
Yes,
So is your budget gonna quit moving?
keeps moving all the time.
It does a lot.
That's not just your department.
Yeah, we just found out about that funding, $40,000 funding. We found out about that, I believe it was last Friday. So the amendment to the MCH contract is supposed to come, actually, I got an email this morning, so it's supposed to come today or tomorrow. So, and then I worked over the weekend on the childcare licensing and again on the budget, so I just need to have finance people make sure that my figuring is right.
So maybe Monday would be,
Yeah.
Monday give you enough time to get all this,
Yeah.
a week from today.
Yes, yeah.
That would be more accurate.
Yep, that'll give us plenty of time, and that way if I have questions, we can have more conversations. Yeah, we can bring all of that back on Monday, so we have until Thursday at 3 to finalize, which really Thursday at noon.
We of course
We need to be
need,
getting it figured out.
we need
For
to
sure.
finish today's discussion, but is the board okay with not having a work session on Thursday and just coming back with hopefully more solid figures on Monday overall for the budget, or do you won't still want to have
Well,
another
we
one on
better plan on
Thursday?
a very long one then, because we still need to do appropriation and personnel.
Patients,
That'll work.
yeah.
So the board want to have another work session on Thursday or no?
No, we can do it on Monday. It's fine.
Okay,
Time to.
no, I agree. It makes
Yeah.
it easier knowing what to do.
Did you want to talk about positions on Monday as well, or did you want to? Perfect. Okay, so we'll be here for probably a while on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of these other changes are just, everybody's trying to cut where they can. So I know it keeps changing, everybody keeps going back, but everybody's trying to make a conscious effort in their areas. And we've had a lot of departments kind of come to us and be like, okay, well, you could probably cut our entire department. I'm like, we're not doing that. Like, that is not what we're looking at. And so that's where some of those conversations start. And then we're kind of pulling people back off the edge of the cliff and going back and looking at the 3 Cs. So just so you guys know where these changes are coming from. Okay, did you want to jump into appropriations? Okay, perfect. So I emailed all of you this worksheet.
It is off just a little bit.
It's off.
Well, the NPO wasn't added into there except for the requested.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to hammer this out so fast.
But you make up a bigger.
Yeah.
It's actually come down quite a bit. A
Yes.
little bit.
Yes, NPO has reduced. Yes, I'm sorry. I was working really fast Thursday afternoon to get this out. So, yes, you have Flint Hills NPO that you've contributed to each year. That comes from economic development, and I'll add that in. But this is the request for this year, which went down. In
They
fact,
come down a little bit.
yeah. So in 24, you guys appropriated 3780. In 25, 3358, and their request is 2,641. And then you've already approved extension, and then you did, no, I removed community corrections office, because it's not an appropriation per se. So that is where the rest of these requests are at for 2026. And some of these have stayed flat. So you see the chamber has stayed flat, downtown Manhattan.
Is the board okay with Brittany just going down in line order that instead of jumping around from each
Yeah.
one? So go through each one and see if they want to be starting at the top.
Emergency shelter. So it's a 56, it says 56% increase, which sounds like a lot, but
9,000.
yeah, it's $9,000 from the 16,000 that we appropriated this year to 25,000 for next year.
I was just gonna say my thoughts on our, I'm just gonna keep them all flat. If you were talking about behavior, which isn't on the list,
Yeah.
we reduced the animal shelter enough where you can build in there, but still have a reduction overall, but I can live with that, at least for now, maybe that's not fine. Just keeping everything else flat. We started off with extension being flat.
Finding mental health, requested an additional 35,000.
One, he had us with two, that's no more.
Yeah.
Enough to make a big difference. But, so you have a mess of one needed to. Big, everything else. Like you said, reduce the animal shelter.
Well, we're asking our people to actually reduce their budget. That means this is a lot more than just flat. I just think that's a fair approach across the board, instead of arguing over one or the other.
And then the ATA bus, they're gonna be doing, they're proposing new route.
Well, I think within that, they're gonna reroute everything else to make it work a little bit. Well, I mean, they're always looking to try to make things more efficient. They seem to figure out how to do that pretty well.
Yeah, we've got a meeting. This week and next week, their next meeting.
See how critical that. No, it was 12,000.
16, I guess, next one is.
They're asking what, 12,000. 12,000.
I think they're like. That everybody's glad and that, yeah, be able, which is covered by.
There consensus to leave all flat and to add just be able and be done with appropriations or not?
They're not done just yet, but.
Yeah, I'm not done till you're done, but
Yeah,
the direction for today.
Yes.
I
Okay,
think that's good.
Okay, I just want to make sure I hear correctly. You're keeping everybody flat and you're adding be able. Now the air conditioner turns on.
Yeah.
I do keep in mind that there's a few reductions in there too that add back to that as well.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
On the appropriations, I know Clancy typically has provided the board in the past with an email or a memo on this. Would you guys still want that?
I actually know all of them kind of by heart at this point, so I don't.
I figure if you guys are ready to move that quickly, I'm happy to give my opinion as we walk through them as well. But if you guys still want that memo, I've already kind of worked on it. Just haven't had the time to really get after it quite yet. But
I know where each one of them standing. The other one would be able, because it's a new one, and I'm pretty much sure you're gonna say we don't have a statutory requirement to fund it.
you were
Correct.
Yeah, the rest of them, he's gone over.
okay. So do you guys still want the memo?
I don't need it.
No, okay. All right, well, thank you
Got
for
lots.
saving me on that one.
Okay, is there anything else you guys would like to discuss related to budgets today?
Don't think so.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys.
Skipping Thursday, no, the Monday is what the thing.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep. And have you guys found it helpful for me to send, these?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And with just like a snippet of what we did. Okay, perfect.
But they're kind of working on in between, and I urge departments to continue to find some cost savings.
Yes, we're working with,
Particularly as we're getting ready to work on personnel.
yeah.
So send out a reminder on that to all department heads that if you were thinking about making any reductions to get them to you, so it's the packet for next Monday.
Yep,
I think Mike was looking at some stuff,
yes.
Yeah,
I think,
it's,
and there might be others.
but yeah, no, having this ahead of time does help.
Okay,
Get a
good.
chance to look at it, it's a lot to digest.
Yes, it is. And it's all the same information that's going in the packet, so the public is aware. It's all the same information. But yes, and the emails I've been sending department heads updates so that they're all aware if they can't make it, so everybody is keeping track of what's going on. So
Then we're gonna talk about positions Monday then.
Doing,
Right, yeah, get all those folks here that.
yeah,
discuss
absolutely.
The ones that are affected here.
Yes, I will let all department heads know of everything that we're gonna do on Monday. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks, Brittany.
that's what I don't either. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we adjourn the July 7th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
I would second that.
Moved in second to adjourn the July 7th meeting, all in favor?
Have a good week. Hope for rain.